for Town Council at 7:06 p.m. for May 17th, 2021. All 6 council members are seated here, and glad to hear that. Will you please rise with me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll move to item number 2, Madam Deputy Clerk, for the swearing in of our new town council members. Councilmember Barrington, would you like to say a few words?
Thank you. Can you hear me? Yeah. I'm new. I just want to thank everyone who came out tonight to support me and everybody who's supported me all through both campaigns. I hope to make you proud. Thank you. He's going to cry too.
Repeat after me. I state your name for the record.
I, Joshua Rivero,
Solemnly swear by the ever-living God
solemnly swear by the ever-living God
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
that I will support the Constitution of the United States of America
and the state of Colorado
and the state of Colorado
and the charter and ordinances of the town of Parker,
and the charter and ordinances of the town of Parker,
and will faithfully perform the duties of office of council member
and will faithfully perform the duties of office of council member
upon which I am about to enter.
upon which I am about to enter.
Congratulations.
Councilman Rivero, welcome back. It's been a couple months. Welcome back, and the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I truly appreciate that. I am going to say a little bit longer than probably Ann, but I'm going to read, so excuse me for looking down. First of all, thank you to the voters. You came out in force, especially during a special election. I can't thank you guys enough. Truly appreciate the citizens of Parker stepping up and caring about their community. Truly believing in the community was my point, and I thank the town for doing that. Thank you to the previous mayors, Mayor Lassiter. Obviously, we chatted a little bit during the campaign. I never served with you, but I definitely battled with you from the dais or from the podium there, and appreciate your leadership in our community. Mr. Mayor Cassiano, thank you, sir. You have been obviously a voice of reason for me, and I still look back to your words of encouragement in 2010 and into 2012. Obviously, Mayor Wade, thank you, buddy. I think we covered the tears during when we were leaving this same seat, but I'm glad to be back, and I will be looking to you in the future for guidance. So thank you, sir. To previous councils, Tracy, Scott, Amy, Josh Martin, Miss Debbie Lewis, obviously John Dyack, truly an honor to serve with all of you and to watch what you've done for this town. To the current council, I can't wait. We're 6 again. I think that's the most important thing. We are 6, and I know and I promise that I will strive to always reach consensus with 6. I look forward to seeing what this council can do. We've got some great minds, and truly look forward to that. My community mentors, Mr. Stephen Strain, rising tides will raise all ships, sir. Jim Annist, the voice of reason, thank you, sir. My Rotarian heroes, sorry, now I'm tearing up. Mr. Stephen Brown, Mr. Steve Budnick, thank you, sir. Truly appreciate your guidance. This one's interesting because as much as he was my nemesis, he was my mentor, Mr. David Van Landschoot. I wouldn't be here, sir, without you. And of course, most recently, the Mangoes. You guys are the epitome of what business owners or building owners should be. Thank you for what you bring to Parker. 10 months of campaigning, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for what you taught me as a candidate. The candidates that I ran against in the special election, Danielle, Nate, Doug, Terry, Jiva, and of course Ann. I'm truly a better counselor because of all of you. To the support staff that we had, the Todd Allens, thank you, the Wilks, thank you guys. Mr. Jeff Labor, thank you, truly, for sacrificing your time and organizing many get-togethers at your home. Truly appreciate that. Miss Debbie Lewis, the jovial nature you brought was always much appreciated. Miss Michelle Tripp, thank you very, very much for your social media guidance. Mr. Teresa Hawkins-Garcia, your stuffing skills were amazing. I don't know how you did so many. My hands cramped after 400. And then always Mr. John Dyack for keeping my nose to the grindstone. It wasn't a hard decision to come back, but it wasn't easy. It was tough, and there were times where I was down, and I got to say that Dyack checking in on me was much appreciated. Town staff, too numerous to list, but just know that I love you all. And lastly, my family. Again, 10 months. I love this town, but I love my family more. They agreed to let me do it again, so here I am. And then lastly, as we know, tonight is game 1, so let's go Avs. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Appreciate the floor.
Congratulations to you both. We will move on to item number 3 on the agenda. Thank you. Public comment. Public comment is now being taken in 3 ways. Number 1, you can email the town clerk's office prior to 5 o'clock before this meeting. We have Zoom availability for folks not comfortable coming back in. And also, if you're in person, we have the sign-up sheet. I have 1 name signed up on this, but don't let that stop you. At the end of public comment, we'll open it up and you come speak for your 3 minutes. So, Danette, do we have anybody on Zoom this evening?
If you're on Zoom and like to make a public comment, please raise your hand. No comments.
Great, thank you. And also, we did receive 2 public comments via email that will be entered into the record for May 17th. The only item I have for public comment is Mr. David Cassiano. If you'll come up, state your name and address for the record, and I will start your timer when you are ready.
David Cassiano, 21541 Omaha Avenue, Parker, Colorado, 80138.
Great.
Good evening, council. It's good to see 6 of you up there now. What a handsome-looking council, except for you, Todd.
He's got a suit on.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to go there, Cheryl. I just want to share this with you because I believe in all of you, in each and every one of you, and I know this town believes in you now. It's good to have 6 of you up here to dedicate yourselves to the greatness of this town. An observant and perceptive government is one that looks at subtle phenomena and listens to small voices. When phenomena are subtle, they are not seen, and when voices are small, they are not heard. Therefore, an enlightened leader or enlightened leaders looks closely at the subtle and listens for the importance of the small voice. It is my hope and desire that God will bless this council, have you listen to the small voices, because they're very important now, especially in this day and age and what we've been through in the last year and a half. The small voices are going to get a little bit louder now because they're back. But once again, God bless each and every one of you. May God bless the town of Parker. And thank you very much for the service you're going to provide to this town. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mayor Castellano. All right, at this time, is there anyone else wishing to make public comment? Seeing none, we will move on to item number 4 on the agenda, reports, items, and comments from the mayor and council. I will start to my left with Councilmember Hefta.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councilmember John Dyack, Bryce Matthews, and Mr. Fusa, John Fusa, and I had the pleasure of interviewing 5 very well qualified candidates and highly intelligent candidates for the Planning Commission last week. And I could say it was a very smooth process, and those recommendations will be coming back to council in the future. In addition, I also had the opportunity to meet with some residents regarding some issues of a possible traffic signal matter up there by the high school and Legend High School. And I did refer that matter to Mr. Tom Williams, who then immediately got back to the constituents on this issue about the possibility of putting in a green arrow by Legend High School on that light. And so Mr. Williams is also looking into this matter at this time. I'd also like to thank the engineering department also for their outstanding work for this town. Often we talk about how wonderful the police department is, and we just got done with Police Week, and we can't thank our police officers enough, but our engineers and our Public Works department really keeps this town going, and we have such a professional group. So I'd like to give a big shout out to Mr. Tom Williams tonight and his group.
Great. Councilmember Barrington, anything else to add tonight?
I wish that my speech would have been longer.
Well, now's your chance. You get it. You get it.
I do have so many people to thank, but
sorry.
so, yeah. So I'll have to get you all later, but I do love you all. Thank you.
Great, Councilmember Dyack.
Is Josh coming or going based on that speech? I mean, it's kind of long-winded there, Councilmember.
Sorry. It's been a while. I had a lot to get out.
I hear you. Let's see here. What have I done? Dr. Cog, at a work session on the 5th, we talked about the state transportation funding proposal, SB 21-260. We got updated on that. In addition, as part of the executive committee of Dr. Cog, I am the immediate past chair. We were asked by World Denver to host a bunch of elected officials from all over Europe, Zoom-wise. It was entitled Effective Local and Regional Government Programming and Evaluation. Dr. Cog is a very hard organization to explain to people, even if you have expertise in the elected world. So we were trying to tell everybody that, yes, we do work together, even though we don't truly work together. It seemed very challenging, but I think they got the picture. One item of note on the Douglas County Commissioner's agenda last Tuesday was the county and the town are going to cooperate on advancing design and construction associated with improving and widening Lincoln Avenue between Jordan Road and Parker Road. So the commissioners are going to put in $250,000, as is the town of Parker, so we can further advance construction at some point here in the near future. I think it's 2024. I'm getting the nod from Director Williams. So we thank the commissioners with their continued support of Parker transportation projects. As Councilmember Hefta indicated, we did go through a fairly long list of citizens, and the ability of these citizens to put their name in the hat, so to speak, to say they want to be a part of the town is just unbelievable. We wish we had more spots. We didn't. We had to make some tough choices. So we thank everybody that put their name in. It was a very, very hard decision to make. And as Councilmember Hefta indicated, these decisions will be forthcoming to council here in the near future for a resolution at the next meeting. And lastly, I had an E470 board meeting. As chair of the Finance Committee, there was a finance-heavy board meeting. We approached the KPMG financial audit. E470 got a clean audit. We have an E470 annual report, as well as the first quarter dashboard as to the metrics of the authority. That is on the E470 Investor Relations tab. And lastly, there is a Series 2021 bond resolution. We need to refund some bonds because the benchmark rate LIBOR that we use is going away. So we need to figure out how to transition over into another index for the most part. So we're going through that, and there's potential savings of about $700,000 to the authority. Mr. Mayor, that's it.
Great, thank you, sir. Councilmember Hendricks.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I request to go before Councilman Dyack next time because this is too much he does.
Do you want to go after Josh?
Yeah. Okay. As a liaison to the Parker Senior Center, I attended their board meeting, and they're a fundraising machine, raising money for their organization. Also, they hope to open up next month, I believe, for their members. Also, I crashed the Downtown Business Alliance meeting, and they have told they're going to do an event downtown next month, June 12th, a car show. So that's exciting to see things open up. And I just want to say, welcome, Ann Barrington, to the council. I've served with you on the DBA as a board member, and it's awesome to see you step up and serve. And Josh, as a mentor to me, I hope to teach you what I know about council in my 5 months, and I've learned a lot sitting in your chair, absorbing your essence, as it were.
Sorry about that.
But no, it's good to see you back, and welcome.
I appreciate that, Todd.
Great, Councilmember Pogue.
Yeah, any meetings I had were canceled, so I'm free this time.
All right. Councilmember Rivero.
I've got a few more. No, I'm just kidding. No, nothing.
I yield.
I yield to you, Mr. Mayor.
Great, thank you, everyone. We'll move on to item number 4 on the consent agenda. The consent agenda items are considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion and one vote. There will be no separate discussion of the consent agenda items unless council votes to remove an item for individual discussion. Ordinances on the consent agenda are for introduction only, will not be removed for discussion. Consent agenda items discussed at the study session can be viewed online at parkeronline.org. And council, you have items 5A through 5H. If there's any discussion on any of those, if not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I move to approve items 5A through 5H with recognition that it is National Public Works Week, and I just like that and part of the motion. So with that, I move to approve consent agenda items 5A through 5H.
Great,
I'll second.
And seconded by Pogue. It is moved by Councilmember Rivero, seconded by Councilmember Pogue. Please vote when prompted to do so.
No, it's not letting me. Yay.
You need my help, Josh?
He does.
Debbie not logged in, right?
I am, but it's on Safari. It doesn't like it.
And the consent agenda passes unanimously. Item number 6 is public hearings. This will be a public hearing on the Lincoln Professional Park annexation and zoning. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the public hearing for this at 7:25. The purpose of this is to hear 4 items: an ordinance 2.276, ordinance 3.358, an annexation agreement, and a use by special review conversation. We will hear from staff, we will hear from the applicant, we'll hear from public testimony, then we'll bring it back to the council and discuss further and vote. So with that, Stacy Nerger, you ready to introduce it?
I am,
All right.
thank you. So good evening, Mayor and council members.
Mr. Mayor, I'm sorry, if I could real quick, maybe it's an opportune time to let this audience, if they would like, without interrupting the presentation, to peel out of here. I can see some shifting.
Oh, they're not here for this?
They should be.
You're excused.
But you got to witness a 6-0 vote. Screenshot that.
Okay, Stacy, go ahead and continue. Well, we'll get it while they go. Yep,
All right, we're back at it.
yep.
So this is the Lincoln Professional Park. It's an annexation, a zoning, and a use by special review. Next slide. So the subject site is located at the southeast corner of Lincoln Avenue and Dransville Road. The site is currently located in unincorporated Douglas County. The applicant has submitted 3 applications. The first application is a request to annex approximately 4.37 acres into the town. The second application is to zone the property C commercial. Per the town charter, concurrent zoning is required at the time of annexation. The third application is a use by special review to allow for a gas station on the property. The proposed C commercial zoning within the town lists a gas station as a use permitted by special review. The area immediately surrounding the site is a car wash and Lowe's to the west, Murdoch's and retail commercial to the north, ET Technologies to the south, and a vacant property in Walgreens to the east. The first application is an annexation. So the applicant is proposing to annex the property into the town of Parker. The green area on this map identifies the properties which are located within the town of Parker. The properties where you can see the aerial view are located within unincorporated Douglas County. The subject property is highlighted in yellow. The property is located within the town's planning area for future growth and development, as identified in the 2020 3-mile plan as an annexation opportunity, is recommended for future annexation in the Parker 2035 master plan, and the annexation map indicates the subject property satisfies the contiguity requirements of the Municipal Annexation Act of 1965. The applicant is also proposing concurrent zoning, which will zone the property to C commercial. The proposed zoning to C commercial will permit future commercial development, including retail, service, and restaurant uses. The proposed zoning is consistent with the uses within the surrounding area and is the exact same zoning as the properties located to the east. The property is located along a major commercial corridor in close proximity to Parker Road, away from any residential uses. The proposed zoning would follow the town's land development ordinance as to uses permitted by right, those permitted by special review, all height and setback requirements. The proposed use by special review is to allow for a gas station on the property. The applicant is proposing to construct a 5,637 square foot convenience store with gas at the northwest corner of the property. Uses by special review are established in zone districts when a proposed use may present external impacts that require additional review beyond those that are considered uses by right. The request for use by special review is a discretionary request made by a private property owner or applicant. The use by special review is to determine whether or not the requested use meets or can meet, subject to conditions, the 9 approval criteria set forth in the land development ordinance. A use by special review does not include the review of specific development standards or construction standards. The review of those items occurs during the site plan and building permit processes. The town has contemplated the annexation and ultimate incorporation of this area of unincorporated Douglas County into the town of Parker since 2002. The property is located within the central commercial district of the Parker 2035 master plan. The Central Commercial District focuses on core retail, services, offices, lodging, restaurants, entertainment, and to a lesser extent, higher density residential. The proposed rezoning to commercial and use by special review for the gas station are consistent with the Central Commercial District goals, and the proposal will help ensure adequate opportunities for expansion of the town's economic base, continue the commercial corridor along Lincoln Avenue, and support new businesses by providing additional land for commercial development. There are 9 criteria used to evaluate a rezoning and 9 criteria used to evaluate a use by special review. These criteria ensure that a need exists, the proposal is consistent with the master plan, the use will be consistent with the surrounding area, it will not create traffic congestion or be detrimental to the town. After evaluating the information provided by the applicant for the rezoning and for the use by special review, staff has determined that the proposal meets the 9 approval criteria set forth within the land development ordinance for both zonings and the use by special review. So staff has reviewed the proposal and has determined that the project is consistent with the master plan. Utility providers have confirmed capacity and availability. All notice requirements have been satisfied.
The Planning Commission heard this application, or heard the zoning and the use by special review applications during a public hearing on April 22nd, 2021, and recommended unanimous approval of both. Therefore, staff recommends that Town Council approve the annexation, zoning, annexation agreement, and the use by special review applications, subject to the conditions contained within the staff report. This concludes staff's presentation. The applicant is here tonight and does have a presentation for you, and as always, I am available for any questions you may have.
Great, let's go ahead and bring the applicant up, and then we'll do a round of questions after his presentation. Sir, if you'd state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Council. Brian Connolly. I'm with the law firm of Otten Johnson. Business address is 950 17th Street, Suite 1600 in Denver. We also have on the Zoom call Ryan Sass with Plaza Street Partners, and I believe Rachel Patton and Mike Kibbe with HKS. I'll let them introduce them.
Do you need them promoted?
They will. Ryan's going to be giving part of the presentation, so she'll need to be promoted.
They have been.
Okay, thanks.
I guess while we're waiting for the presentation to come up, I'll add my congratulations to the two newest council members. I'm sorry that we have to dampen the mood with a public hearing this evening. Stacy, as always, did an excellent job of going through the application, and so I won't belabor any points, just provide a little more context in terms of what we're doing here. So we'll go to the next slide. You know what's before you, so we'll go to the next slide. As I mentioned, the team that's here includes Ryan Sass. She's with Plaza Street Partners. They are the developer of this project. Joining me this evening is my colleague Lindsay Lida, who's behind me, and then the team from HKS Engineering has been obviously very important to this project as we've gone through it. Next slide, please. So I'll turn it over to Ryan now to give a brief introduction to Plaza Street, which is the developer.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, council members. My name is Ryan Sass, and I'm Vice President of Pre-Development here at Plaza Street Partners. Here at Plaza Street Partners, we are a real estate consulting and development company headquartered in Kansas City. We partner with quick service restaurant franchisors and franchisees and other national freestanding retailers to grow their brand through new unit delivery. We oversee or have overseen developments throughout the United States, from Southern California to upstate New York. And this also includes several projects in Colorado, such as Colorado Springs, Leadville, and of course the subject property at Lincoln Avenue and Dransfeld Road. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic and its detriments to the economy, especially the retail and restaurant industry, most of our clients have continued to pursue their development pipelines. Myself here and the team at Plaza Street Partners are very excited about this opportunity to redevelop the Lincoln Professional Park property. And we truly believe this will be a great asset to the town of Parker's community. So we appreciate your time this evening to hear applications that will make this redevelopment possible. And I'm here for any questions if you have any. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Ryan. And so we'll go to the next slide. So I thought maybe I'd just give a little bit more context on the actual development plan that's in front of you. So the property, as you know, is at the corner of Lincoln and Dransfeld. Just a couple of things to note. So the use by special review that's being requested is for a gas station, which is there on the corner of Lincoln and Dransfeld. It's actually not on the hard corner because the property slopes westward toward Dransfeld Road. So what you see on the hard corner is actually a detention pond, and then you've got the gas station convenience store just to the east of it. So the property will have internal driveways. There will be multiple different sites for retail or restaurant users. What you also see up in the top right corner of the screen, the northeast corner of the property, there is an existing driveway that serves the Walgreens that goes out to Lincoln. And so that driveway will continue to serve Walgreens as well as this site, and that'll be the access in and off of Lincoln. I heard Councilman Dyack just talked about the Lincoln Avenue expansion. This property is going to be, this project will involve the dedication of property for that to support that expansion. There will be roadway improvements on Dransfeld as well to serve. There will be a four-way intersection there where the driveway goes out to the west. And then we're also working on an access agreement with the properties to the east to provide access from this property out to Parker Road. So you'll have that connectivity across the entire property, which I think will benefit all the property owners there in the area. And as Ryan mentioned, the potential tenants they're not yet fully identified, but the potential tenants will be a mix of restaurant and retail users. Next slide, please. This is just a zoomed-in conceptual site plan for the convenience store and gas station. I don't think there's anything else that I need to add to that. Next slide. So I think it's important just to note a few of the benefits that this project brings to the community. As Stacy mentioned, it brings an enclave into the town, which of course has been part of the town's planning goals for a long time. It's really a well-positioned property for retail and commercial uses. It's obviously surrounded by a good core of commercial uses there at Parker and Lincoln. And I think it is exciting given the situation that we've been in for the last year and a half with commercial uses and particularly restaurant and retail, that this project offers an opportunity to bring more restaurant and retail users to that area and reinforce that tax base there. And then, of course, the public improvements that are part of this project, needed improvements to Dransfeld, allowing for improvements to Lincoln and construction of sidewalks and pedestrian connectivity as well, we think is a good community benefit. Next slide. We've got the approval considerations here. Stacy's report does a really good job of going through them, so I'm not going to belabor the point. I'm happy to answer any questions about these. These are zoning, and the next slide has the approval considerations for the use by special review. And other than that, I'm here, the rest of the team's here, and we're happy to answer any questions, and we appreciate your consideration of these applications.
Excellent. Thanks, sir. I am going to poll the council real fast, see if there's any questions before we go over to public testimony. Councilmember Hendricks, any questions? Councilmember Pogue? Councilmember Rivero?
Not this time, sir.
Okay. Councilmember Dyack, Barrington, Hefta. All right. We will go ahead and open it for public testimony. For those of you in the room, if you would like to provide testimony on this issue, please make your way down to the podium. And Danette, do we have anyone on Zoom wishing to make comments?
No comments.
Okay. With that, we will move on then and go to any closing comments by the applicant or by staff. Okay. Seeing none, I will close the public hearing at 7:38 p.m. and we'll bring it back to the council. Mr. Maloney, are you? Okay, great. And we'll go in the same order then on public. So we've gone through public testimony. There was none. Councilmember Hendricks, any other items, comments, clarifications? Okay. Councilmember Pogue?
Yes.
Okay.
Doing an annexation and a special review with the same motion, in other words, concurrent action, is allowed by code, according to Mr. Fusa. However, I'm going to request that the town look at separating that, because it doesn't really give us a chance to evaluate the property on its own merits for use by special review. So to me, we should not be doing a use by special review concurrent with annexation.
Okay. Councilmember Rivero?
Thank you. I will say I appreciate this project, both the team that put it together, obviously Stacy's work. Brian, it's good to see you again, and we've definitely worked together for the last 8 years. I will say that I find this piece very important, because it's an enclave. It is one of the donut holes, if you will, in our community. And it's a prime commercial area. But the biggest thing that I see are addressed in the zoning criteria, with the fifth criteria being traffic movement and the sixth criteria in the use by special review. We need connection. Right now, Walgreens and Napa and the like all either dump right out, right in, but dump out onto Lincoln, which dumps out onto Parker Road, or dump straight out onto Parker Road. And these are congestion issues. And anything that we can do to get traffic off of Parker Road, and simply by adding a internal road that gets people back to a full movement onto Dransfeld, is hugely beneficial to our system. I look forward to this. I've seen way too many people taking a legal left out of Walgreens, cross double yellow, and who knows what happens. So I look forward to this just for that. I look forward to this for the increased commercial, and I look forward to it because I believe the private property owner has the right to develop his property. And I think this is a great project, so thank you.
Councilmember Dyack.
No, I think Councilmember Rivero kind of hit that. I think connectivity is the issue. Having the intersection on Dronsfeld line up. I think that was our challenge in the past with previous proposals. I believe connectivity truly is the issue, and I'm thankful that we have it. Thank you.
Great. Councilmember Barrington.
From what I've seen of this project, I think it looks really excited, and it seems to meet all of the nine uses or the criteria. And I think it looks like the staff has been very thorough, and it was a great presentation. I think it's something that will really revitalize that corner.
Great. Councilmember Hefta.
Do I get to make my statement at this point, Mr. Mayor? Or is that coming later?
Which statement is that?
Or just what my thoughts are here?
Oh, yeah. We're through public testimony and comment. Yep.
Just making sure we got the process down on this. Okay, thank
Free
you.
reign.
Thank you.
Oh, then
So I have had the opportunity to review the rezoning application and the use by special review. And on the rezoning application, I do think it meets the 9 criteria in accordance with the Parka Municipal Code 13.04.2.240.f. And I'd like to make a few comments on this, on the rezoning application. The property is surrounded by existing commercial uses and located within the commercial core of Parker. It will promote orderly growth, continuity of development within the surrounding areas within the town and the town urban growth area. As stated earlier, it will not impede traffic circulation or movement, and it will probably be improved as well. The project will not incur any additional costs to the town. That would not burden the town. That's an important measure. The environmental impacts can be mitigated, and the proposal is consistent with the town master plan, maps, goals, and policies. So I do believe the applicant, in my opinion, has met the 9 criteria in accordance with the Parker Municipal Code. Secondly, I have reviewed the approval for criteria for use by special review, and I do understand the applicant's position at this point in time of submitting these together. I also understand Councilmember Pogue's desire to have them separated out. As we are here tonight reviewing all 3 together, I'm going to go with that. And I have reviewed that. It does meet the criteria as outlined in the Parker Municipal Code 13.04.220B. And I'd also like to briefly mention a few items on this matter. The property is surrounded by commercial uses, and it's compatible with a gas station and a convenience store to the surrounding areas. It meets all the requirements of the Parker Land Development Ordinance, and as this relates to setbacks, landscaping, parking, drainage, and architecture, these will be reviewed, and all of these will be satisfied prior to construction to the site plan process. The applicant will also be required to meet all state and federal requirements for the installation of the underground gas tanks with annual monitoring of the groundwater and soils. So after reading through all the reports by both the applicant and our own staff, I believe the applicant has satisfied the 9 criteria for use by special review in accordance with the Parker Municipal Code.
Great. Thank you, Councilwoman. With that, unless there's any other comments, we have 4 items to entertain, and I'll accept a motion on number 1.
I move to approve ordinance number 2.276 on second reading, subject to the approval of ordinance number 3.358, the annexation agreement, and the use by special review.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Councilmember Hendricks, seconded by Councilmember Dyak. Please vote when prompted to do so.
didn't get a box again. I vote aye.
Yes, I didn't get a box.
And that ordinance passes unanimously. Next item is item number 2, and I'll entertain a motion on that ordinance.
I move to approve ordinance number 3.358 on second reading, subject to the approval of the annexation agreement and the use by special review.
Is there a second?
Second.
The motion was made by Councilmember Hendricks, seconded by Councilmember Dyak. Please vote when prompted to do so.
Josh, you might want to go out back in again.
Yeah, I vote aye.
Yes.
And that ordinance passes unanimously. Item number 3, I'll entertain a motion on the annexation agreement.
Why not? I move to approve the Lincoln Professional Park annexation agreement, subject to approval of the use by special review.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion was made by Councilmember Hendricks, seconded by Councilmember Rivero. Please vote when prompted to do so.
I vote aye.
And that agreement passes unanimously. Item number 4, use by special review. I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the use by special review based upon staff findings contained in the staff report.
I'll second.
All right. Motion was made by Councilmember Rivero, seconded by Councilmember Hendricks. Please vote when prompted to do so.
I vote aye.
And that motion passes unanimously. Item number 7, ordinances. The termination of hazardous material board and amendment to emergency operations plan. Here comes Jamie Nguyen. And do we have Commander Coleman with us too tonight?
That's right.
Awesome. Welcome, sir. We haven't seen you in a while. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and our full council. Commander Coleman is here with me tonight to discuss a somewhat unique situation. Back in 2003, Town Council entered Ordinance 9.75, adopting an intergovernmental agreement to create the Arapahoe and Douglas Counties Hazardous Materials Board. That board was an oversight board to deal with hazardous material situations within the counties and to bring together and utilize the resources necessary for the various fire departments to deal with hazardous materials incidents. Today, we are coming before council to ask you to adopt Ordinance 9.75.2 to enter an intergovernmental agreement terminating the Hazardous Materials Board that was previously entered. Circumstances have changed quite a bit in the last 18 years, and we no longer need a dual county-wide board to oversee these. Currently, South Metro Fire Rescue Authority is the agency that we utilize for our hazardous materials incidents. That will not change. So we are just asking that the board, which has actually already been terminated, the other governmental entities have voted on their IGA provisions, be adopted by this council to terminate. We are also asking that a resolution be entered today to amend the section of our emergency operations plan to specifically designate South Metro Fire Rescue Authority as our agency as opposed to the Hazardous Materials Board. And Commander Coleman is here to discuss any specifics or to answer any questions related to this.
Great. Thank you, Jamie. Commander Coleman, any opening comments or just for questions?
Nope, just for questions, if
Great.
anybody had any questions.
Great. I'm going to start to my far right, Councilmember Rivero.
No, I think this is a great opportunity to appreciate why we do resolutions and not ordinances. Now we need an ordinance to kill an ordinance, whereas now a resolution, we could just get rid of it. So, point taken.
Councilmember Pogue.
I think it's a good plan. You know, years ago, you needed to combine your resources to make things work. While everybody's grown, we no longer need that combination. So thank you.
Thank you.
Councilmember Hendricks.
No questions, thank you.
Great. Councilmember Dyak.
No questions.
Councilmember Barrington.
No questions.
Councilmember Hefta.
Just want to thank you for all you do.
Thank you.
Great. Because, and with that, I'm going to open this up for public comment at 7:51 PM. Any member of the public wishing to make comment, please make your way down to the podium. And Dinev will queue up the folks on Zoom to raise their hands after that. And sir, if you will state your name and address for the record. Let me get my timer set here.
Sure. My name is Michael Lakovna, 12793 Red Rosa Circle, Parker, Colorado, 80134.
Okay, hang on, don't start speaking yet, I gotta. Jeez.
Ooh, you're up there.
I know. And you're free to go.
Thank you. So with removing the ordinance for the Oversight Board, I'd just like to hear a little bit more about the Parker Emergency Operations Plan for oversight of South Metro. Obviously, hazmat responses, when you have them, they're sizable incidents. Usually require a lot of cleanup. There's impacts to the environment, sometimes civilians. And just like to hear what oversight there is. Obviously South Metro, we've got, agreements with them to handle that, but oversight sometimes is a good thing when it comes to hazmat response. So, thank you.
Great.
As for Parker, we have our own staff of emergency management, and then we also work with Douglas County as a team also. We have an incident team that responds out to there, and we work with South Metro Fire on those incidents. We are fortunate here off of Stroh Road. The firehouse there is a designated hazmat fire station that we can benefit from being just in the town alone, and then obviously other resources. We still work with Arapahoe County. The way that we are going to continue to do things, working with the other agencies, we will do, but this was just the oversight board for this section that we didn't need because we need to actually apply our taxpayer money to actually focus on the resources to do that. So we work in conjunction with the Douglas County team and the Arapahoe County team to come out with the best possible resources.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Any other comments online?
No comments.
Okay, and with that, we'll close public comment at 7:53. Commander, thank you for answering that question from two. And then we will bring it back to the council. Councilmember Hefta, any further questions on either the ordinance or the resolution?
No, thank you.
Councilmember Barrington?
No.
Councilmember Dyke?
No, sir.
Hendricks? Councilmember Pogue?
No, thank you.
Councilmember Rivero?
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you. I think this is a great opportunity, as Andy stated, keeping it local with more local control and Douglas County focus. So thank you.
Great, and with that, we will take this in two motions, correct, Jim? Two motions, so I'll entertain a motion on the first
I
ordinance.
will move to approve ordinance number 9.75.2 on second reading.
And I will second.
Motion is made by Councilmember Pogue, seconded by Councilmember Hefta. Please vote when prompted to do so.
Vote aye.
And that ordinance passes unanimously. Next is item number 2, resolution. I will entertain a motion on that.
I'll move to approve resolution number 21-024, please.
Okay, second.
That motion was made by Councilmember Rivero, seconded by Councilmember Hendricks. Please vote when prompted to do so.
Vote aye.
And that resolution passes unanimously. Thank you both very much. Appreciate it. Item number 8, resolutions. Our first resolutions, item A, resolution number 21-023, a resolution accepting the conveyance of real property from Diocese of Colorado Springs for the right-of-way parcel RW1 of Lot 1, Block 2, Horseshoe Ridge Subdivision, First Amendment. Mr. Gill, welcome back.
Is it on now?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So good evening. I'm Tom Gill. I'm a project manager the town of Parker. And tonight, I'm going to be presenting for two resolutions, actually, 023 and 025, for conveyance of real property for the needed right-of-way for the upcoming Motsenbocker Road and Hess Road widening and intersection improvement project. I know it's a lot of words there. Yeah, slide 2. So, lower this. So the widening project will construct a northbound Motsenbocker to westbound Hess double left-hand turn lane and an additional southbound Motts lane south of Hess Road. In addition, the project also includes paving a sidewalk south of Hess Road on the west side of Motts down to French Creek. This will eliminate a gap between the two roads. Next slide. And this is just a vicinity map to show the area where the project will take place, hopefully, if you can all give me the green light. So, yeah. On this slide, just a little background on the project. The town has identified 2 right-of-way areas at the intersection of Hess and Motsenbocker that are needed to complete the improvements. Go ahead, next slide. So here are the properties. They're kind of small, hard to see, but on the southwest corner, that's the Colorado Springs property. On the northwest, that's the Diocese of Colorado Springs property. Next slide. And then here's some more background on the project. Town Council passed a notice of intent to acquire ordinance back in February 2021 for the necessary right-of-way. We were successfully able to negotiate the acquisition with the North Parker Investments at no charge because they were obligated via development agreement. With the diocese, we had to pay them for the right-of-way for $44,460, which is a fair market value determined by a March 2021 appraisal. The last. So, as I'm sure you're aware, the resolutions are required to accept the conveyance of right-of-way property. Just to kind of update you where we're at with this, the consultant is anticipating having the plans ready for advertisement in probably around mid-June, so the bid opening will probably be mid-July, and the project will hopefully be underway in early fall. That's it for my presentation. Can I answer any questions?
Great, thanks, Tom. So we're going to take this as 8A and B. They're combined, they're just across the street from each other. So I'll start in the middle this time. Councilmember Barrington. It's like you're in school, right? And you keep getting called on. I know, I'm sorry.
No questions.
Okay. Councilmember Hefta?
Not at this time.
Councilmember Dyack?
No, I just, I think this initial step is probably a good move so we can improve and create that segment that is missing. If you've ever been going north on Motsenbocker and trying to go west on Hess during the high peak periods, it's a bit challenging. So looking forward to this overall project moving forward. And again, thank you, Mr. Gill, for being there and helping us through this.
You're welcome.
Great.
Thank you.
Councilmember Pogue, any questions?
Yes. Looking at this, you have one party donating the land as part of their contribution for development. Had the diocese property been facing development, would they be donating the property versus being paid for it?
I would assume so. Tom would probably be better to answer that, but if they're developing.
And then the second part of that question is, can we recover those funds from a future development?
So good evening, Tom Williams, Town of Parker, Director of Public Works and Engineering. Just to clarify, the property that we received on the southwest corner from Parker North Investments, the developer, they were not actually obligated to convey that property to us. I think they did out of the kindness of their heart. I think they saw the benefit to the roadway project as it relates to their development on their property. So they conveyed that property to us at no cost. The property on the northeast corner that's owned by the Diocese of Colorado Springs, we did not have a development or a development agreement that obligated them to convey that property to us. As part of the original development of Horseshoe Ridge, which includes the Horseshoe Ridge residential development as well as the commercial property at the corner of Hess Road and Parker Road, they've fulfilled all of their annexation and development obligations as it relates to the development of that property. They widened Hess Road adjacent to their property. They also widened a good portion of Motsenbocker Road adjacent to their property as part of their original development. So they satisfied their obligations. This improvement that we're doing here is really to alleviate regional traffic needs versus the local traffic needs, which is why we're having to pay the Diocese of Colorado Springs for their property.
Okay.
Councilmember Rivero?
No questions, sir.
Councilmember Hendricks?
Any opportunity to improve track and flow is welcome. Thank you.
All right, with that, we will open it for public comment. Anyone in the room wishing to make public comment, please make your way. Danette, do we have anybody on Zoom?
If you'd like to make a public comment, please raise your hand. No comments.
Okay, so we opened that up for public comment at 8:02 and closed it at 8:02, and I'll bring it back to the council. Council, any other comments, questions? Laura, you have a comment?
Yes. I noticed that the town negotiated the acquisition of the property from the Diocese of the Colorado Springs at $44,000, and you had an appraisal done in March. Did you just have? Did you have one appraisal on that? Did you have appraisals at that at any other point in time?
No, I'm only aware of one.
Okay. And was the town satisfied that was?
Apparently so. Tom didn't get excited about it.
Yes, we reviewed the appraisal. Did our consultant, our town consultant also reviewed the appraisal and seemed satisfied with the appraisal that was obtained in March.
Thank you.
Okay. Cheryl, anything else?
No.
John, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Okay, seeing no other comments, questions, or issues, we will entertain a motion on the resolution 8A.
I move to approve Resolution 8A, 21-023, please.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Was that you, Barry? It took me 3 meetings to get to my second, so good for you. Motion was made by Councilmember Rivero, seconded by Councilmember Barrington. Please vote when prompted to do so.
I got to second, but, oh, here we go.
And that resolution passes unanimously. Next is Resolution 8B.
I'll move to approve resolution number 21-025.
I second.
Motion was made by Councilmember Pogue, seconded by Councilmember Rivero. Please vote when prompted to do so.
I did second.
Do you second it?
I'll take it.
I did.
Rookie needs work.
And that resolution passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Gill. Item number 8C, resolution number 21-026, a resolution to adopt an amended town council policy statement 1-8 concerning public hearing procedure and public comment policy.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Kristen Hoffman, Deputy Town Attorney. Policy Statement 1.8 establishes procedures for public hearings and public comment periods. During the pandemic, public comment and public hearings were conducted via Zoom pursuant to an emergency order. If the council wishes to continue to allow public comment and public hearings to be done via Zoom, we needed some revisions to Policy Statement 1.8. So I've attached to the resolution a red line showing those changes. It basically addresses and makes a distinction between those that are presenting via Zoom and those that are presenting in person. It also makes a few clarifying revisions, most importantly, to provide the opportunity for the applicant to respond to any testimony or other evidence received during the public hearing as part of the public hearing procedures. And that is all I have for you. I'm available with any questions.
Great, council questions. We'll start. Councilmember Rivero.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. No, actually, I have no questions at this time. Thank you.
Okay.
I don't know.
No.
Question?
No, I'd just like to say thank you for your hard work on this, Kristen.
You're welcome.
Great. So then let's open it up for public comment at 8:07. Anyone wishing in the room or on, certainly, or on Zoom? Danette, anyone?
No public comments.
All right, we'll close that at 8:07, bring it back to the council.
Mr. Mayor, I just, for myself, I think that there are things that came out of COVID. Prior to COVID, and this council knows, and it's mostly its entirety, I was not a fan of electronic testimony and or electronic meetings and or pretty much electronic anything. It was a change for me. It was hard for me to get used to. But what I did learn during the end of my last tenure, and then obviously watching the new council with the electronic stuff at home, it is beneficial, and it does give transparency, and it does bring more active citizens to able to testify. So getting over my own problems is one issue. I think that there are some good things that came out of COVID, and I would chalk this down as one. Thank you, sir.
Great. Councilmember Pogue?
Yes, I agree. I do think the transparency it offers is incredible. And I do think electronic meetings are here to stay.
Councilmember Hendricks?
I agree. Giving the public options is a good thing. Thank you.
Great. Councilmember Dyak?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just like Councilmember Rivero. I mean, I think it's a challenge to go from a meeting in person to online. I think it's an added benefit, but I think my bias is to still have things in person. And I think situationally, having the ability to go online and use those in a very productive process would be good discussion moving forward. Thank you.
Councilmember Barrington?
I think anytime you can allow the public to engage, just opening up another avenue, I think it's always a good thing. And I think what could have taken us 20 years took us 2 weeks to figure out. So I think it's a really good thing.
Great. Councilmember Hefta?
Yeah, I would echo Councilmember Barrington's remarks and just add that transparency in government, again, with Councilmember Pogue's remarks as well, is always a value that we would like to have in government across the board. So I think this is a good thing.
Great. Kristen, just a question. Are we going to have all three options kept on as a part of this?
On the agenda, yes.
So we'll have email into the clerk's office, Zoom, or in person?
Yes.
Okay, great. There's no other questions. We'll entertain a motion on the resolution.
I will move to approve resolution number 21-026.
I'll second.
Great. Motion was made by Councilmember Pogue, seconded by Councilmember Hefta. Please vote when prompted. And that resolution passes unanimously. Item number 8D, resolution number 21-027, a resolution authorizing the possession and consumption of alcoholic beverages in Discovery Park, subject to certain conditions.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Kristen Hoffman, Deputy Town Attorney. I believe it was 2 years ago, the council amended sections 8.08010 and 12.0220 of the Parking Municipal Code to provide that the town council may designate parklands where the possession and consumption of alcoholic beverages are allowed. This resolution allows possession and consumption between the hours of 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. on the following dates due to concerts that are being held in Discovery Park, August 5th, August 12th, August 19th, and August 26th, 2021. Thank you.
Council questions. We'll start down with Councilmember Hefta.
No questions at this time. Well, I take that back. So this resolution is authorizing them for just those specific dates in August, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
It just aligns with the
Yeah.
concert dates. Other than that, it is not allowed in the park.
Okay. So in the future, when we have to, we'll revisit this issue when there's concerts again in the park, and you'll bring another resolution back.
Correct. I bring a resolution every year, except last year we didn't because of COVID.
Thank you, Kristen.
Councilmember Barrington?
No questions.
Councilmember Dyack?
No, sir.
Councilmember Hendricks? Councilmember Pogue?
Of course.
All right.
So the question, I have two questions. I thought we were going to look at it 1 year and then maybe come back with a more permanent resolution, but you're saying we're going to have to go year by year?
We don't know what the concert dates are. The way the ordinance is set up is that it needs to be designated by resolution. So if we want it limited to specific dates, I have to do it year by year as we know when the concert dates will
And
be.
we can't just say concerts.
We can certainly look at that. If we could probably draft something to address that.
That way you don't have to keep reviewing it year after year, And so, this is a short season, probably because, I would assume because you can't get concerts booked at this late date. But I would just suggest that change.
We'll take a look at that.
Councilmember Rivero?
No questions, sir.
Okay. We could always ask Acting Director Glassburn to project 10 years out and get those dates and firm up. But
But we don't have to have the dates, we can just say concerts.
I think it's more of a goal statement.
I know.
Here's your projection.
Exactly. Sorry, Carrie, you know you wanted to come here. Sorry. All right, let's go to public comment at 8:13. No comment in the room. Danette, any comments online?
No comments online.
Great, we'll close it at 8:13. Bring it back to the council. Any further questions or comments? Councilman Rivero?
I just want to, again, for the record, state, I believe that this is a great opportunity to express when government works for the people. We saw a want of the folks, and we saw a conundrum that our police department was put under, and to address that by giving the power to the responsible adults, whether or not they wanted to have park in their park or have alcohol in their park. And I believe that's the role of the town, to recognize what the citizens want and recognize what our police department needs as far as tools. So again, as I said a couple years ago, kudos. This is a well-done resolution.
Councilmember Pogue?
I have no further.
Councilmember Hendricks? John?
Yeah, so Carrie, we don't have any July shows. That's challenging, because I thought it was July, August. Yeah, I thought so.
Yet.
Man. All right. No, I mean, I'm supportive of, discussing a more permanent option. I mean, I think Councilmember Pogue was right. I think based on my recollection, it was a 1 year trial, and then we came at it from another way, saying let's just do it 24/7. So, I mean, I'm more than happy to discuss a more permanent, reoccurring type of situation. I mean, during the concert season, the citizens were doing effectively what we're creating a resolution to make it legal for. So, yeah, I mean, I'm more than happy to revisit it to make a more permanent situation. Thank you.
Councilmember Barrington?
No comment.
Councilmember Hefta? All right, if there's nothing else, we'll entertain a motion on that resolution.
I move to approve resolution number 21-027.
Second?
I'll second.
There you go.
Great. Motion is made by Councilmember Hendricks, seconded by Councilmember Barrington. Please vote when prompted to do so.
Vote aye.
And that resolution passes unanimously. Michelle, on the follow-up to that, do we want to get that on a study session, or do you just want to bring it back on an agenda? Or, I'm sorry,
We'll have to put it on a study session.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Second.
All right, item number 8E, resolution number 21-028, a resolution to amend resolution number 20-060, series of 2020, to allow a partial waiver of subsection 13-07-100I and J of the Parker Municipal Code to extend the expiration date of Parker Point minor development plat. Should have had you done that, Bryce. That would have been easier for me.
Thank you, Mayor, members of council. Bryce Matthews, I'm the town planning manager. As noted before you tonight is a resolution requesting to extend the expiration of the Parker Point minor development plat to December 31st, 2021. Next slide. Just a little bit of quick background on the proposal that was approved by town council. It's 15 commercial lots. There's also a tract reserving the open space and floodplain for Kinney Creek that's on the property. It's at the southeast corner of Parker Road and Stroh Road. The status right now is it approved by town council. Mylars are not recorded and public improvements are not secured at this point. The resolution would extend the timeline for the property owner to record the plat and to secure the public improvements until December 31st, 2021. Next slide. As noted, council approved the plat on April 6, 2020. It originally would have expired on November 5th, 2020. Town council did extend this once to May 27th, 2021. The applicant is requesting another extension due to ongoing COVID created delays in financing, in getting his financing in place. He did provide a letter from a financial entity that it is in place. He is, per what he has said, close. And the lender letter says that that they expect to be able to complete the financing by December 31st, but probably sooner. Code requirements have not changed since the current approval, so there's no significant benefit in putting the subdivision back through the process. Next slide, please. Based on all that information, staff recommends that town council approve a resolution extending the approval of the Parker Point minor development plat to December 31st, 2021. As always, I'm available for any questions you may have.
Great, thanks, Bryce. Councilmember Dyak.
No questions, thank you.
Councilmember Barrington.
No questions.
Councilmember Hefta.
No questions.
Councilmember Hendricks.
No questions.
Councilmember Rivero.
Is the applicant joining us today?
I actually just asked, and they are not on the Zoom call right now.
Thank you.
All right, with that, we will open it up for public comment at 8:19. Danette, anybody online?
No public comments?
Close it at 8:19 and bring it back to the council. Further comments, Councilmember Rivero?
Just say it on the record, I would appreciate it, let it be known from here on out, I would appreciate applicants' attendance, especially electronically nowadays, if they're coming to ask this council for favors. So, thank you.
Understood.
Councilmember Pogue?
Anything further?
No, sir.
Councilmember Hefta?
Yes, I just wanted to comment on the letter of credit. So when you switch financial institutions like that, obtaining a letter of credit can be difficult. So they're coming back with a new financial institution to try to get a new letter of credit, which delays the whole process. And I quite understand that. But I would be in favor, as Councilmember Rivero stated, that, that the applicant should, attend in person or online. Is if we have any questions, we'd like to hear from them directly. But thank you for your presentation tonight, Bryce.
Great, thanks. And with that, I will entertain a motion on the resolution.
Move to approve resolution number 21-028, please.
I'll second.
Motion is made by Councilmember Rivero, seconded by Councilmember Hendricks. Please vote when prompted to do so. And that resolution passes unanimously. Right now, I'll entertain a motion to go back into executive session. Michelle, I don't know if you want to excuse your team as we go back into executive session, but I'll take care of this piece of it. And I'll entertain a motion to go back into executive session to finish up the previous meeting.
I move we go to executive session.
Mr. Mayor, do we need to have a recess so we can get Tom backed up, or do we do this first? I don't know.
Michelle, how much time do we think we need on exec?
We have 2.5 more items on exec, and so it all depends on how long council chooses to discuss those items. We'll wrap up item 5 that we hadn't finished when we broke, and then we have items 7 and 8, the Chamber of Commerce item, and the other item regarding, I can't think of it right now. Jordan Road.
Okay.
It's a good half hour, possibly.
Okay. You need 20 minutes? Okay. So, council, what's your pleasure? Do you want to recess for 20 minutes and come back into exec?
I wonder, council, and I was going to bring this to you at some time, but I wonder if we can go back into our room. It's exec.
We don't have the recorder set up in there right now.
Okay, so we'll give Tom 20 minutes to get out, and we will return at 8:40.